afternoon here. Stories to be told as we take a look at some of the stars of the Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia Series. Beautiful new car. That stunning new Cupra from Michael Clementi, all part of Carl Cox Motorsport. Here's Jordan Cox. Has had a troubled weekend in that Peugeot and roared from the back of the grid yesterday. Nolts. So hopefully it's kind of behaviour in high-speed scenarios where it needs that aero support hasn't quite been there.
And this is one of those weekends where you start off badly but end up on the pole for Sunday's race. This is how we got here yesterday afternoon in the first one in the setting sun at Phillip Island, and Cox was the big mover straight away, making 2 positions before we got to the control line in race number 1. Josh Buchan would lead us down, and that's about as close as the field got to the number 30. That
car, from claiming pole position to its behaviour in the race, was nigh on perfect. He did tell us this morning that he got a little vibration in the rear of the car towards the end. Now, Manith would be forced out wide at that stage of the game, but that Audi was fast and he would claw his way back into podium contention.
He was lucky to get away with that one, wasn't he? As there was debris going everywhere. This was the drama that started for the Liqui Moly Audi. A control arm and a broken upright on the Audi for Will Brown sent him back into the pits. His day was done very, very early in race number 1. This is Lockie Maneve having a fantastic day out in his own Audi after he drove for Melbourne Performance Centre at the first round down at Simmons Plains earlier this year.
And the Burson Auto Parts entry had good pace early on, but would drop back a little for Ben Barguana. This one for Tom Oliphant would tell a bit of the story. He would venture into pit lane from turn 4 there, and that would ultimately result in a penalty that affects today's grid. Great performance from Manith. Purple Sector Racing could not believe it, and we could not believe this, Matt. Almost within sight of the line for Tony D'Alberto. That right front lets go. Buchan holds on despite a little bit of a vibration. The rest of it was perfect. Pole to flag, race win for him. Lockie Manith, a podium in Tasmania, and that one almost felt like a win yesterday.
I thought he was a bit hard on himself when he said it was a hollow one down in race number 2. Genuinely earned that one from 9th position on the grid. Phillip Island here in Victoria. Melbourne, of course, the capital city. This place looking incredible as always.
Now, Kumho Tyres, who are our official tyre supplier, and they supply on a world basis. That's one of the great things about this year's series. As we build up to the international arrival, we'll be very accustomed to what these tyres are like. There's been a reissue this morning of the recommended pressures for competitors to use in the wake of what happened yesterday for Tony and so on. So.
Not mandatory, so it's just a recommended. We've seen this before with other categories here, that it's such a high-speed course, and we're starting to see tyres. Of course, Tom Oliphant's car cut a tyre down early in the race in the brand new Lincoln Co entry for Ash Seaward's car. So he'll start from 11th position on the grid. 14 laps will be the distance here today for this one. Of course, with the heavy fog we had here earlier today, we've had to shorten the program down by 2 laps or 5 minutes for most of our categories, except for GT World Challenge, which will run over 60 minutes. So Jordan Cox leads us away on the parade lap. Next time by, it'll be game on in race 2 of Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia.
Races 1 and 3 of the weekend are worth a maximum 50 points each. With this one, we invert the top 10, and there's been a bit of juggling going on in the wake of yesterday's first race for the pointy end of the grid, if you will. 40 points up for grabs here, and Brad Harris, making his Super Cheap Auto TCR debut, finds himself on pole in only his 2nd race. What a story.
Bet he wouldn't have picked that.
Never.
Arriving down here Thursday afternoon for setup day to the Wall Racing car that ran here in the series last year and in the first year of the championship, looking to go out on their own eventually, but Wall Racing helping out with that car for the time being.
You think Fabian Coulthard gets a little kind of glint in the eye about, you know, had 2 race wins here last year, that Stan Sport, Honda.
We put Fabs out there. He's doing a great job on the team, though. At the same time.
Bailey Sweeney came into the weekend as the points leader in the Hyundai i30N. That's the earlier generation car. His teammate who grabbed pole and won the race yesterday in Josh Buchan has the new generation Hyundai for TCR competition. There are some cool new cars in this, including the Audis, which we have a question mark over. Zach Suter, and of course the Liqui Moly entry for our inaugural series champion in Will Brown. Hopefully they have those gremlins sorted, particularly in Will's case, the electrical issues that have been plaguing him. He basically, Matt, had no practice on Friday. They've been trying to zero it down, narrow it down, and find what the problem with that car was.
Aaron Cameron, sorry.
No, I was just going to say that it still gave him, despite the collapse at the right rear of that car yesterday, the issue, it was still also giving him a bit of grief electrically, so they're not sure if they've resolved it.
And that's been a hangover, hasn't it, since the first round. He did bring up a point yesterday where the car was heavily damaged last year at Bathurst and rebuilt over the summertime. Nonetheless, we've got some different names at the front with our reverse top 10 race in Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia. We've got Michael Clementi out there in the brand new Cupra TCR that makes its debut in the field. Aaron Cameron starting from 7 with Lockie Manith out of 8. And of course, yesterday's race winner starting from 9. Tony D'Alberto will start from 10 after DNFing in the final lap of the race. Tom Oliphant, the brand new Lincoln Co for Auto Glim and Ash Seaward Motorsport States from 11th. Zach Suter and Will Brown coming from the back in the Audis out of 12 and 13. So 14 laps. Rusty's pointed out 40 points for the win in race number 2. Another 50 up for grabs in race 3 today.
How good does that look? Just magnificent here at the island. We have, although we had a little fog this morning, Matt, each of the days here so far, it is a, and look at the lineup of cars to the right of your screen. Fans that have come, parked up, enjoying the Shannon Speed Series. Round 3, it's the second round of the season for this Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia. Some fast competitors at the back. You can see that tough lift Audi in the hands of Zach Suter, that black and yellow machine. Huge local support for him here this weekend. Will Brown, the swill, he'll be fast as well. Revs rise, a great chance in the Schaeffler Peugeot for Jordan Cox to make some ground, and he gets a beautiful start over Harris, the newcomer to the game. That Cupra slots into third, and look at Tony D charging off the line.
Clementi made a great start there too in the Cupra, the Carl Cox Motorsport entry. He's up in the 3rd spot already. That's Barguana and Cody Garland in the second of the Eve Valvoline cars. The MTA New South Wales sponsored car drops back in behind the Burson Auto Parts cars. We're underway and down into Southern Loop for the first time. Tony D'Alberto trying to work yesterday's second place man and a series leader, Bailey Sweeney, to make her way down Bass Strait for the first time.
Ben Barguana did Australia proud in recent weeks, competing against the world's best in Portugal. Recognised for his performance as top rookie. He's certainly made an impression there. One of the best racing experiences of his life. Great to see him getting abroad internationally and showing what our TCR contingent are capable of. And Will Brown even talking this morning with Chris Stubbs about the want within his busy schedule this year to try and do something like that, perhaps towards season's end. We jump aboard with the champion, Tony D'Alberto. Heartbreak yesterday with that tyre issue almost within sight of the flag. A very popular member of our paddock here. A popular championship win last year, and Tony D in that Honda Civic Type R already fighting hard.
There's Manith, Bailey Sweeney just behind, so they're back in 7th and 8th position with D'Alberto. Brown's up into 10th position in the Leclerc Audi, just hoping to get the 9-car home today and get some points. Both he and Oliphant sitting on donuts at the end of yesterday's racing. But out of the final turn at the end of lap number 1, it's going to be Jordan Cox in the 33 Schaeffler Peugeot that leads by 0.8 of a second. The Harris, Clementi, Barguana and Garland, your top 5.
Little touch of the brake for Jordan Cox, ensuring that he's got pressure when he turns in to 1 in the Peugeot. Look at the advantage he has over Harris, who is doing a superb job. We just need to remind you that he's come from a very different style of racing, Brad Harris. This is a big step up for him with the Wall Racing team, holding down second at the moment from Michael Clementi in that brand new car. And Michael's been in our sport for a little while now, ran a Honda Civic Type R for a while, then stepped up to an Audi, and this beautiful Carl Cox Motorsport brand new Cupra takes second place.
With a beautiful move as well. Harris steps aside here for Barguana in the Burson Auto Parts entry. On the way into Siberia. In fact, Harris is hanging on. This is great for the debutant in his number 74 Honda. Just behind is Cody Garland. And in front, Jordan Cox gets a bit of an advantage here. Harris needs to find somewhere to tuck back in. You can't go too wide through there. He's trying to stay there, Rusty, and does. Brave move from the ex-Mazda racer as he stays at the top. Garland has a better run. Look at that from Jordan Cox.
How's the save from Jordan Cox? That was sprint car material. Reminder, he's in a front-wheel drive, turbocharged, 350 horsepower machine, the Schaeffler Peugeot, making it look like child's play. Great save, Jordan Cox.
We caught the end of it. That was insane. And only a man of Jordan Cox's driving ability could do something like that. He was way offline at the top of Lukey Heights and manages to stay in the lead. Clementi to second spot now.
3 here. 3 fighting coming into turn 1. Manif right in the mix. He's holding down 6th place. Aaron Cameron, Bailey Sweeney. Little bit of tail-happy activity from Cody Garland, who holds on. There's Manif.
Oh.
Someone's run wide there.
Saw some dust or dirt anyway in the background. Is there a car spun in the background of that shot?
Are we missing? No, Michael's still there. I thought Michael Clementi might have. Tony D.
Could be. On our screen dropping down. We'll come back to that soon as they stack up down here at turn 4.
He's at the back of the pack, Tony D'Alberto. He's behind Zach Suter and with Josh Buckins. So
look at this from Jordan Cox. Get this guy a rally drive. Seriously.
the Australian Rally Championship's off to WA next week. I think he's just put his entry in. Watch this. How easy's the wheel work? Look at the wheel work. Sublime from Jordan Cox. Big speed there.
Oh, man. He's always up for a good highlight. That's going to be one for the ages in the Safler Peugeot. But it's allowed Clementi to get in a debut run for the Cupra. He's just behind him by 7/10 of a second.
Just for perspective, their fourth gear over 150k an hour as Manif goes off now. Manif keeps the boot into it, skirts the trap and will rejoin, but he's lost a swag of spots. He was in fifth.
But he recovered. That's okay. Made a mistake at a really fast section of the course, the final turn, and skated across that gravel trap. It drops, as you said, a ton of positions. After that second place result yesterday, drops back to 13th.
How's the fastest lap of the race so far? Michael Clementi, 1:39, 1:32. Got Ryko back on board with him this year. They unveiled the car on Friday. Really excited about that new generation Cupra being a part of our sport. And there's a few up and down the lane that have sort of raised their, not eyebrows, that's not the right word for it. There's interest, Matt. Cool to have the Cupra as a part of this.
Some more new cars that will come online as the year progresses. Of course, the TCR World Tour later in the year at Sydney and at Mount Panorama.
Oh, Sweeney.
And just making the move. He's in a Valvoline sandwich here in the Hyundai car 130. 2 race wins already. They're bumping wheels in one of the fastest sections of the course. And look at Will Brown sitting behind here. Can Sweeney hang on to the spot? Yes. Brown, is the door open for the Liquid Molly car? No.
Brown talked this morning like his bid for the championship in 2023 was over. He gave not quite a finality about it, but he talked with that tone, Matt. So he said, I'm just going to go out and go hard today. This will be worth watching. Will Brown right in the mix. Sweeney can't, with the championship in mind, Matt, he can't afford to get involved in a stoush or a skirmish. You can't watch your copybook in this game.
Not at all. And sadly, he's had too many non-starts already in the 2 rounds we've had. A win today could reinvigorate the 2019 champion. But looking just to get this trouble-played Audi home and get a result today. Behind him, Tom Oliphant in the Auto Glim Lincoln Co car for Ash Seawood's team that's come out to run in this year's Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia Series.
Remember, they're still learning this car at Ash Seawood Motorsport. He is a hard charger. He's won races in the British Touring Car Championship, but I don't think they've fully unlocked it just yet, Matt. That car's got great potential. We know what it's done on the world scene. We now have one in Australia, and Ash Seawood's been regularly in communication with some of the teams internationally about what they're allowed or recommended to do. And some of the specifics around even what they painted the front bar with, we're talking grams.
Yeah.
They're really specific. That is a cool car.
It's a beautiful car up close, isn't it? Down in the Ash Seawood team. Of course, Ash running various cars across many categories in Aussie motorsport these days. It's up to the top of Lukey Heights we go again. Clementi closing in on Jordan Cox, Ben Barguana, and Brad Harris doing a great job here in his first run, 4th position. He looked a bit stressed yesterday when you caught him up in the pit there, like he'd really gone to battle, didn't he?
Well, and I think the reality of the step up had set in, so it was a bit of a mixture of, hey, super excited to be playing in this field, but man, the competition is hot.
Absolutely. Another lap in the books. And looking at our screens, Will Brown has dropped away from this group. So wherever you look, there's action aplenty here as lap 6 is underway. Race 2 of Super G Auto TCR Australia today on Stan Sport at the famous Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit here in Victoria. Into turn number 1. What a day to be at the skids as well. Just comfortable conditions, not just for the drivers, but for the fans as well.
A day to be at the skids. Is that because of Jordan Cox driving there before?
Got caught up in the moment there.
Amazing. We might get Chris Stubbs and Fabian Coulthard to chase for us from the respective Audi pilots, Will Brown and Zach Suter, just how things are today. Are they? We've seen Brown lose some positions here at the moment. Is everything okay? Sweeney again bumps wheels with Aaron Cameron. The 20-year-old Hyundai driver came into this with the series lead. He's got the elbows out here. Sweeney is playing hard. He boxes on and takes the spot back at Siberia.
So 5th and 6th position. Been argued heavily. It's through this right-hander as they start climbing towards the top of Lukey Heights. And just behind is Cody Garland, his 2nd season in TCR competition. He's also mixing it up in the Aussie Racing Car Series as well. Won the points battle a couple of years ago in a shortened championship. He continues to run that car to this day, but for now, he sits in 7th ahead of Suter. Oliphant running back in 9th, and Josh Buchan back in 10th position.
Interesting to get some perspective from Josh Buchan as well, not being able to make as much of an impression at the moment. All right, bit happening. We'll keep a watching brief on what's happening up in front here. Michael Clementi looking at Jordan Cox in the meantime. An update from the lane.
Rusty just chatting to Tom Moore, of course, engineer for Will Brown, just saying that car is totally out of balance. They think it's hard to believe that it could be that far out of balance unless it's some sort of mechanical. So keeping an eye very much on that car.
Thank you, Stubbsy. Okay, so that adds a layer of explanation to Will Brown back down in 11th position at the moment, ahead of Tony D'Alberto. Manif back in 13th. We saw him skirt the gravel trap before. Cox is busy here. Michael Clementi senses a chance to maybe win a race. He's going to go into the race lead. Gets out of Miller corner. Cox fights back. You jump on board the Schaeffler Peugeot now, and he'll wrestle that lead back.
Confidence from Clementi, isn't it? I was waiting to see where the Carl Cox Motorsport Cooper would pop up there. But Cox, as he said, the better line, down into Siberia, back into the lead. But a lot of time here to play out. Clementi stays with him. Never won a race, never been on the podium. He equaled his best result in race 2 as Simmons Plains of 5th, but runs in 2nd. Bargwanna, a comfortable 3rd position right now. And seeing what happens with the 2 ahead.
Supported, of course, by legendary British DJ Carl Cox, who came to Australia in the 1980s, who just loves motorsport. Ryko back on board for their mission this year. Brand new car, as we said, unveiled here at Phillip Island. Clementi and that huge family that often come to events like this at Phillip Island and support Michael. They will be cheering loudly if he can do this. Oh, gets a little loose through turn 1. As they come through Doohan Corner, it's 5th gear, about 190 k's an hour in a TCR car at the island.
So Cox, Clementi, Bargwanna, the top 3. Harris in his debut run 4th, and Sweeney. We look at Tony D'Alberto and Lockie Manif, who skated off the track there a few laps ago. Has dropped himself to 13th and probably won't make too much an impression on the guys ahead here now. To look over turn number 4, the old Honda hairpin. Plenty of runoff area, isn't there, at Phillip Island? And you need it with the massive speeds that all our categories carry in the Shannon Speed Series. Out of Siberia. So Clementi showed his hand for a moment, tucks back in, and will run comfortably back behind the number 33 Peugeot. Up to Lukey Heights they go once again. Of course, Jordan Cox hasn't had a victory since Simmons Plains last year in the 2nd race of the year. So long time between drinks for the 27-year-old from Sydney. Runs his own automotive business out there in Rockdale. But would dearly love a victory to get his confidence back up. And Super G Auto TCR Australia through the final turn, this long left-hander.
Up to 242 k's an hour. You're riding with race leader Jordan Cox in the Peugeot, ahead of the Cupra of Michael Clementi. Ben Bargwanna, probably haven't shouted high enough about that, Matt, holding down third in the Burson Auto Parts entry at the moment. And Harris, despite starting on pole in only his second TCR race, is holding down an excellent fourth place in the midst of some great competition, ahead of Bailey Sweeney, ahead of Aaron Cameron. Good work.
Getting some laps and learning how to drive with the guys around him as well. At the same time, looking forward to seeing him back over the course of the year. Winton Motor Raceway is up next in country Victoria. 3 weeks from now, and of course, Queensland Raceway, Sandown, Sydney Motorsport Park, under lights. Looking forward to that again. And of course, finishing up at Mount Panorama in the final round, joined by some of the international drivers at that event to cap off the TCR World Tour.
Just on Harris, mentors are growing in their presence and importance in this Shannon Speed Series paddock, Matt, and he's got Luke King with him. So Luke obviously has an involvement with the Wall Racing outfit from a Porsche Carrera Cup standpoint. Natural guy, given his experience at the wheel of TCR machinery, both Hyundai and Audi, for example, to have on the radio guiding Brad Harris in his first outing.
Yeah, we miss Luke King in the series, don't we? He was a great racer. Off in Carrera Cup these days, but still hangs around the paddock, and that's good to see. Bit of a waiter here as we look at the field coming around to complete another lap. 1:38.8 is the quickest lap of the race by the man running in fourth position, Brad Harris, and comfortably quicker than the cars around him. Suter, Oliphant, and Josh Buchan, yesterday's race winner, running back in 8th, 9th and 10th position.
Best lap of the race actually belongs to Harris. 1:38.8420. We go back to this fight here with a little bit of a lock break from Josh Buchan, I think it may have been. So it's some real variety there in terms of makes. Peugeot in the hands of Garland, Audi in the hands of Zach Suter, then Tom Oliphant driving the Lincoln Co. And Josh Buchan, yesterday's race winner, at the helm of the Hyundai. There's Brown in the background. You've had the update from Chris Stubbs in pit lane, so kind of fighting with one arm behind his back again. We have had some fog around the island to start the day. It's lifted now for beautiful conditions, but we may go time certain in this one, Matt.
Yeah, clock's counting down at the top there. We've dropped 2 laps off it already, but also we've got to keep the schedule nice and tight here. Not just for the Stan Sport coverage, but of course the 5 p.m. maximum time limit here. They can race at Phillip Island. It's been that since the turn of time, I think, down in this part of the world. But load sports still to come today, is there? GT World Challenge will feature soon. The V8 touring cars are back after a couple of years away during the pandemic. S5000, the Trans Ams, who are amazing once again, will cap it off with the final race of Super Cheap Auto TCR later today.
And I can see them out the back already. There's around about 30 cars in both GT4 and APC, what we call the Australian production cars. They'll be up very soon too. Some cool GT4 machinery there, but our focus is very much on this at the moment and what it might do from a championship perspective. You've got to say, given the fact that Tony D's down in 13th place, Jordan Cox had a difficult day yesterday. It's good points in the bank once again for Bailey Sweeney, isn't it? So Josh Buchan, good day yesterday with that pole. You get points for pole position now, as we saw last year, but it's a gain. We now get 10 points for pole position here. Here we go, Clementi again. So maybe he's just cooled things off, Matt, and trying to have a late run here at Jordan Cox. A late bid to try and take that race win.
While this race is starting to wind down, the points from the 2 races and qualifying will set the grid for the finale today. And Josh Buchan looks good to start from pole, even though he's running in 10th position right now. Pole position was 10 points. Race win yesterday was worth 50. And what's Clementi got? Cox can sense that Clementi may be a bit faster here. And the Cooper on debut, now starting to turn it up with 20 seconds of racing still remaining.
If it wasn't a touch, it was very close. Michael kind of showed the nose, didn't he? So through the final turn, We'll get confirmation for you from race control, but no last lap board showed. I don't think last lap board showed that time by. We'll confirm for you. If we go time certain.
Great debut, though, for Clementi in this Cupra. Of course, we've had... Oh, he makes a move.
Oh!
He's into the side, the shape of Peugeot. It wasn't pretty, but it's worked. I think we might want to turn the air. I was going to say turn the audio down inside the in-car of this camera right now.
Wow, he fired it down the inside of the Peugeot and made it work. So Clementi, awesome stuff. Jordan Cox not necessarily happy about it. We are on the way home, folks. That's the confirmation through. So Clementi had a chance to get it done. Let's have a look here. Into two. Third gear, 113 k's an hour and moves on by.
Cox had the door open there, didn't he? Come in a little bit hot. It wasn't enough. We'll call it as we see it for now. Let Motorsport Australia handle that afterwards. Clementi to the front on the final lap. Race number 2.
They'll go mad in there. It'll be wild, the celebrations. Brand new car. Cool new addition to Super Cheap Auto TCR. And Clementi is about to potentially, unless Jordan Cox finds a little something here through the final few corners, about to have a sweet moment in this championship.
He's going to etch himself into the record books. We've had 21 winners in this series, and Michael Clementi continues that growing list of winners.
Well
as the
done.
Carl Cox Motorsport team celebrate Clementi's first win in Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia. Half a second the margin between he and Cox. Barguana will be home for third. Brad Harris will be fourth in his second race. Bet he didn't see that one coming.
And he's got the fastest lap of the race too, so well done. Bailey Sweeney home in 5th. Good points toward the overall championship. And I think, Matt, he should start on the front row beside Josh Buchan for the final this afternoon. They're delighted. The Michael Clementi Carl Cox Motorsport crew, he's done it. He's an animated kind of guy. I can't wait for the celebrations here. Here we go. Number 1 today. Well done to Michael Clementi. Joins our winners list in Super Cheap Auto TCR. And as you heard Matt say there before, that is 20 plus now in the history of our sport here. The newest addition is Michael Clementi. Jordan Cox, a little unhappy about it. Home in second. Ben Barguana for Burson Auto Parts, a brilliant third. And Brad Harris, in only his second race, finishes 4th.
It's the bonus point too for the fastest lap of the race. Will Brown did get the car home today, and that's good to see for Melbourne Performance Centre. Lockie Manif, who went off the track early, and Tony D'Alberto down the field there in 13th position.
Look at them.
Yeah, naturally. They will party like it's a championship win down there. They had one of the loudest group of guests last year at Phillip Island. The decibel meter might just go up a fraction higher here for the Clementi team on their debut run. Carl Cox Motorsport, they'll love this too.
Highlights of race 2 of Super Cheap Auto TCR from Phillip Island. Harris had the pole, but Cox launched away in the Schaeffler Peugeot. Beautifully done as they ran down to 1. Fast start from Michael Clementi in the new Cupra, and Ben Barguana would ultimately get to 3rd.
And Clementi made a fantastic start there from the second row, while yesterday's grid was spun around. And Josh Buchan just drove a conservative race then, knowing he would start from pole position for later on today and protect the Kumo tyres. That was Clementi making a move on Harris, a debutante, and this one will hit socials, won't it? Jordan Cox sprint carring his way across the top at Lukey Heights to keep the lead. This was Manif. That was staying a long way before the final turn. And of course, they've been operating the dirt tracks during the summertime as well, and he made his way back on the track, but 12th position only today for the man that finished on the podium.
We would go time certain, so time was running out, and Michael Clementi decided to pull the pin and move on by at turn 2. He got past Jordan Cox, who wasn't happy about it, but Clementi into the race winner record books of Super Cheap Auto TCR.
And have a look at them. They love it. Clementi loves it too. What a debut for this car.
Sweet. He's got the Ryko sticker above the where ordinarily the glove box would be in the Cupra, and there's a photo of his cousin Dante on there. So Dante loves the racing too and was riding with him. Awesome stuff. What a roll-up of family and friends. A popular win. So race 4 of the Mobil 1 Australian production cars not too far away, featuring, of course, Monochrome GT4 Australia, less than 5 minutes away before they hit the track there. It's a jam-packed afternoon in the Shannon Speed Series, including Fanatec GT World Challenge, powered by AWS, some of the most superb-looking GT machines you will see on track here. Very soon, down to Chris Stubbs in Victory Lane.
Rusty, thank you. Well, he's fresh off a rookie award from his trip for the TCR World Tour in Portimao in Portugal. Benny Barguani, you're on the podium here at Phillip Island. You're having a good time.
I'm having a bloody good time. Yeah, to get a podium is really good. We had a penalty yesterday for that engine change, so to come back to a podium, yeah, really stoked. The team's given me an awesome car. It's been great racing with these guys. Like, it's so crazy, but, you know, I'm loving it and so happy for this result.
Ben, well done.
Thank you.
And across to this man in second place. He threw it out sideways. A bit of drifting there at Lukey Heights early in the race, but Michael Clementi threw it up the inside there at turn 2. Great battle for us to watch. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, it was a good battle. So anyway, we'll take that from where we were at the start of the weekend. So it's good to maximise those reverse skid races like that. So yeah, like it was the Pug was it's pretty tricky to drive throughout that race then, but you know, we're happy to finish P2. Yeah.
Eyes forward, another one to go.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
And that brings us to the man of the moment. He's got the new car. He's had all the headlines leading into this race with the Cupra. Michael Clementi, that is a popular result. The family is here. You are our latest Super Cheap Auto TCR Australia race winner. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I'm bloody speechless. It's been a long time coming. You know, the whole Cupra deal started a long while ago, and yeah, to do it now on debut with the family here on Mother's Day especially, yeah, I don't know, it's pretty emotional.
I think Mum was in tears, and it looks like you're pretty close to the effort that you put in.
Yeah, it's been such a hard work. You know, we're a little team punching above weight, and we've had a lot of bad luck, but finally, I think it's turning around, and yeah, we're ready for it.
Amazing job. Well done.
Thank you, thank you.
Well done, Michael Clementi, picking up victory in race number 2. Championship-wise, he's going to see the same guys first and second, blows out by 3 points from when we left here yesterday. Sweeney from Cameron, Jordan Cox now into third position. This little group of cars between Buchan, Clementi and Lockie Maneve, separated by 6 points, with Garland, Barguana, D'Alberto 9th, Tom Oliphant is 10th.
Some of the best sport you will see is right here. And don't forget, rugby's big year is here. The only place to watch every match of the Rugby World Cup, Bledisloe Cup, the World Cup warm-ups, and of course the 2023 Rugby World Cup. Ad-free, live and on demand is on your home of rugby, Stan Sport.
Oh, this is the time, this is the moment, a chance to beat one of the best teams in the world.
Wallabies advance on the Harker. This is going to be good.
Now the game has got a pulse.
Touring back there, goes bang.
Hasn't he stood up tonight?
They're hard-fought inches here. Who breaks first? Rugby World Cup 2023.
And Ireland are the Grand Slam champion.
Great finish.
That is a mic drop moment.
20,000 in the house in San Juan. And sits up for Argentina. From Bombeira Stadium erupts. Away for Lenikitao. Oh, that is wonderful. That is wild. That is amazing from the Wallabies.
It will be epic. Time now for the podium. Here's Richard Craill.
Rusty, this could be the loudest